In this video, I'll be testing the airflow meter, or AFM, on a Porsche 944. These tests will verify if the device is functioning correctly and providing accurate signals to the DME computer. The factory airflow meter uses a mechanical flapper door element placed in the intake airstream to measure the volume of air entering the engine. The flap connects to a wiper arm inside the assembly that moves across some potentiometer contact strips to provide specific voltage signals to the DME computer, based upon the positioning of the flap as it opens and closes under acceleration and deceleration. Over time, the contact strips can develop grooves that negatively impact the output voltage and cause issues like irregular or rough idle, a rich running condition with poor fuel economy and the potential for black smoke from the exhaust, stumbling or hesitation under acceleration, especially at lower RPMs, unpredictable surging across the rev range, and a sudden loss of power followed by intermittent stumbling and the inability to maintain acceleration. This video is sponsored by Carpokes, the friendly Porsche enthusiast forum. Whether you're looking for technical advice, classifieds, or custom tools for your Porsche, Carpokes has it all. Check it out today and register for free. For today's tests, we'll be following the AFM testing guide on the Carpokes website, listed in the components testing section of the 944 handbook. This guide provides a pinout diagram, as well as voltage targets, resistance values, and visuals to set up the test. We'll be using a multimeter, some test leads, and a basic USB-A wall charger and cable to generate a 5-volt power source. The voltage targets here are listed for a later 944, model years 1985.5 to 1991, but the test is essentially the same for an early car, model years 1983 to 1985. The main difference being those early AFMs used a 12-volt input voltage, so the values may not line up 100% in those cases, but will still validate continuity across the contact strip. Since we'll be working with the car's electrical system, we'll start by disconnecting the negative terminal on the battery, and then we can begin removing the airflow meter from the car or testing it in place at your preference. For purposes of the demonstration, we'll remove the AFM, which is attached by 4 10mm bolts on the inside of the air filter housing and a ring clamp on the other side. We'll start by disconnecting the wiring harness from the AFM, which should be locked in place by a metal spring clip. If the connector doesn't wiggle free, the spring clip can be pushed aside using a small flathead screwdriver. Next, go ahead and remove the 5 Phillips head screws securing the housing cover and disconnect the breather hose running to the belt covers if this connection hasn't been capped off already. At this point, the cover can be lifted off the housing and the air filter removed. You can either remove the AFM and the lower air filter housing as one assembly by removing the 2 bolts at the front of the housing and the 2 at the rear, or you can remove just the AFM unit by loosening and removing the bolts connecting it to the housing. On the other side, we'll loosen the clamp holding the J-boot in place and separate the 2 parts, and with everything disconnected, the AFM unit can be removed and set aside. Referring back to the testing guide, we can see that the AFM's connector has 4 contact pins, labeled 1 through 4 from right to left. Pin 1 is for the intake air temperature signal, provided as a resistance value to the DME computer, and pin 2 is the airflow signal, provided as an output voltage to the DME computer. Pin 3 is the 5-volt positive input, and pin 4 is the ground connection. What we'll be doing here is using a common USB-A wall charger and cable to supply 5 volts to the AFM while the unit is tested for specific output signals. Once you've sourced a wall charger and a sacrificial charging cable, cut the device connector from the end of the cable, and use some wire strippers to remove a section of the outer insulation. This will reveal a set of inner wires, and we'll be looking for a red wire and a black wire to supply our 5-volt positive and negative connections. The other colored wires are for USB data transfer and won't be used for these tests. Next, remove some insulation from the ends of both the red and the black wires so that we can set up our connections. Per the guide, you can crimp or solder on a JPT terminal or a thin spade connector at each wire and apply some heat shrink tubing to isolate the connectors. A set of test leads with alligator clips can also be used here, provided they're small enough to be applied without touching each other, so just make sure to be extra careful with this step. Next, we'll set the voltmeter to low-level DC voltage and test the power supply to confirm we have the required 5 volts. Once the voltage checks out, it's time to set up our first test to measure the airflow signal. Just to be safe, I'm going to disconnect the power supply while the test leads are connected to the pins so that nothing gets shorted. The black ground wire from the charging cable is split into 2, with one lead connected to pin 4 on the AFM and the other connected to the negative probe on the voltmeter. The red positive wire from the charging cable connects to pin 3 on the AFM. Again, make sure these connections aren't touching each other. And finally, a lead is connected from pin 2 on the AFM to the positive probe on the voltmeter. With everything set up, the power can be reconnected, and it's time to take some readings. Here, the signal should read about 0.25 volts with the internal flap closed at its resting position, and about 4.6 volts with the flap fully open. Use your hands or the end of a screwdriver to slowly push the flap from a closed position to a fully open position. If the AFM is working correctly, the voltage should steadily increase as the flap is pushed open, and steadily decrease as it closes, without any breaks or erratic shifts in the voltage. Any irregularities here would indicate that the AFM is defective and should be replaced. For the next test, we'll be measuring the intake air temperature signal using an ohm meter. The air temperature sensor is located within the AFM, where it hangs down from the top of the air channel on the air filter side of the assembly. Here, the test lead is moved from pin 2 to pin 1, and we'll be looking for a resistance reading of between 3600 and 1400 ohms when the ambient air temperature is between 50 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. At 104 degrees Fahrenheit, the specification is 1300 ohms. A quick shot of warm air can be applied with a blow dryer to see if the resistance reading changes. Any absence of signal here or readings outside the specified range would indicate the device is defective. Another important note here is that the AFM can also be tested while still hooked up in the car by disconnecting the main connector on the DME computer in the passenger footwell and using the pins shown here instead of testing the pins on the AFM. If you're up for it, this is probably the best approach to start with, as it tests the airflow meter and the wiring harness at the same time. And if the signals check out okay, you can skip the AFM removal and direct testing of the unit. To access the DME connector, all we need to do is pull back the carpet in the passenger footwell area, remove the screws securing the wooden kick panel, and behind it, we'll find the DME computer attached to a metal bracket. At this point, the 2 screws at the bottom and the 2 plastic screws up top can be removed and the assembly pulled out a bit. Then the DME connector retaining clip can be pushed to the right while pushing up on the DME connector to disconnect the wiring harness. This will test both the harness and the AFM at the same time, so if you don't get good readings at the DME connector, you would then need to test directly at the AFM to see if the issue resides in the wiring harness or the AFM itself. You've now tested the factory airflow meter on your Porsche 944. Hopefully it's working correctly and you can move on to the next component. Check out Carpokes.com for additional troubleshooting tips and testing guides related to the DME relay, the speed and reference sensors, the throttle position switch, and much more.